Number 10. Letitia Dress Split. Letitia Grace is a singer and TV star from Wales, and this year she was on the UK edition of Big Brother. Accompanying the main show is a side show called Big Brother's Bit on the side, and it's basically where interviews are held with the housemates after they're evicted and all of the news from the day is talked about. When Letitia Grace was evicted from the house and then interviewed on the show, the host asked her to show off what real twerking was. Unfortunately for her, things went a little bit wrong and her dress split open mid-twerk, and it basically revealed her butt for all to see. I gotta admit though, this one was seriously hilarious. Number 9. Dutch TV reporter falls in river. When you're doing TV on set, pretty much anything can go wrong, and unfortunately sometimes it does. At least that's what this Dutch TV reporter found out when she fell straight into a river off of a boat while conducting an interview. I mean, she only has herself to blame though. After she asks her first question, she decides to lean back on the edge of an open portion of the boat's protective railing and then tries to grab onto what looks to be like a bit of string to steady herself. Well, obviously the string gave way and then she went straight into the river. Luckily, the reporter knew how to swim and they were able to get her out of water. On top of that being super embarrassing, the guy holding the microphone actually tried to use it to get her out, and honestly, that's just so funny to me.
Het paasevenement van Nederland georganiseerd. Zeilkampen. Burgemeester, wat is er nou zo bijzonder aan zeilkampen?
Als je de mooiste... Jongens, dat gaat niet goed. Deze kant op. Nee. Probeer.
Number 8. Serene Branson stroke. For those tuning into the Grammys back in 2011, the night was going to turn into a huge celebration, but ended up getting a surprisingly strange live broadcast from the reporter Serene Branson. She gets her first few words out fine, but then things start to go really wrong. It's like she can't get any of her words out properly. Her speech becomes mumbled and doesn't make any sense at all. It actually turns out that the reporter had experienced a stroke live on TV and it was stopping her from thinking straight. Now fortunately, she was given the appropriate medical aid and was fine afterwards, leaving the event as just another embarrassing TV moment.
With highlights and backstage coverage we're seeing for the very first time. Serene.
Well, a very, very heavy rotation tonight. We had a very Darrison by, let's go to Terrace English for the bit, they have the pit. Very Darrison by, let's go to Terrace English for the bit, they have the pit.
Number 7. The Wrong Miss Universe. The Miss Universe contest is a yearly competition that gets a lot of press, although last year's competition got a ton of attention for all the wrong reasons. Steve Harvey, the presenter of the show, announced Miss Colombia as the winner of the Miss Universe title, but in actual fact, it was Miss Philippines who had won. When Steve Harvey realized he had got it all wrong, the stage turned into one of the most awkward broadcasts ever. I mean, you gotta feel bad for Miss Colombia. Steve Harvey is just such a funny guy to look at though, and his reaction to it is just priceless.
I have to apologize. The first runner-up is Colombia.
Number 6. Condor takes over a hockey game. During a Bakersfield Condor game, a singer was singing the national anthem, and at the same time a condor had been released so that it could stand around and look majestic. Unfortunately, it didn't really look majestic as the bird had other ideas. It jumped off its handler's arm and started sliding around on the icy floor, and the handler was having a really hard time trying to get it back again. The condor ended up flying off into the stands and everything, just keeping away from the handler until it eventually flew down the tunnel to the locker room and got caught. I mean, seriously, you can't make these things up.
Condor's down. The bird's going over to the condor.
The Birdman was bringing the bird out to put him at the perch,
Look at the Condors players are getting away from him. Look at him. Oh, there he goes up on the bench. I love it. Oh my God.
This is the greatest.
Oh my gosh.
The bird's going down low.
He's down the tunnel.
Number 5. Sky News reporter falls over. Nick Collins is a sports reporter for Sky News in the UK. During a broadcast about the England football team, the reporter just sort of fell over. Like, one moment he was on camera, and the next moment he had just dropped away. Nick was alright in the end, and the broadcast eventually resumed, but that won't take away his embarrassment at literally falling over while standing still on live national television.
Michael Carrick probably having to wait till the second half at least. But he's a man in form. He was man of the match here at the Community Shield game.
Now, that's the kind of thing that you hope never happens to you in live television. But it obviously happened to Nick there. We shall go back to Wembley just as...
Number 4. Reporter hit by skateboard. A reporter called Mike Amal from Channel 7 News in America was running a report on skate parks in the country when out of nowhere, a skateboard came flying out of the park and whacked him on the back of the head. You know, I'm not really sure what was more embarrassing about this one. The fact that they played that as the actual story, or the in-studio anchor who made the smart remark that he quote-unquote should have stayed in the studio. I feel super bad for the guy though. I mean, that looks seriously painful.
Yeah, all right. Okay? Yeah, good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
You. Yeah.
Ouch. It looks a lot worse than it did. He didn't bleed, but Mike says that whack sure did hurt. He's recovered though, and is now nursing a big lump on his forehead.
Number 3. Mexican singer sanitary pad. While halfway through a performance on a TV show, a Mexican singer's sanitary pad literally fell out from between her legs. She was walking forward and the pad just sort of dropped out, and you could hear one guy go, "Woo," when it happens. So yeah, people totally noticed. I gotta give credit to the singer though, because she just kept on going. A lot of people are calling it gross, but for the most part, it's kinda just the human body, so I don't see the big deal. Still though, that's really embarrassing to happen in the middle of a performance. Number 2. BBC presenter caught brushing hair. The BBC is one of those UK news organizations that really pride themselves on being professional and well put together. I mean, it's literally supposed to be the news channel for the entire British people. Unfortunately for the BBC Business Live reporter Carol Walker, the cue that lets her know she was on the air was a little late, and she was caught brushing her hair before. I mean, honestly, I don't see the big deal with this. It's really not that embarrassing, but the whole point of it is that they're supposed to be this really professional network, and it just was not professional at all.
This is BBC News. I'm Carol Walker. The headlines at 9. The government starts selling off its stake in RBS.
Number 1. Katie Solov falls over. In 2015, the CBS 4 traffic reporter Katie Solov hit a bit of a bump in the road. She was busy updating viewers about the road conditions, and she was so concentrated on doing her job that she didn't realize she had been walking backwards for far too long. And she basically ended up walking herself right off of a small step and falling onto the ground in her news studio. I mean,